Hello, it's me, Utica Queen from RuPaul's Drag Race Season 13. And today I'll be recreating my entrance look, this Strawberry Dreams fantasy. I really like this look because it's my first look that I ever did as Utica. Watch me go from this to this. Well, the first thing I do when I start my makeup is I do my foundation first. I like to get it all blank and beautiful, and then I go in with all the crazy details. So, let's get started. So I'm using this really light, airy foundation, which blends into my skin like a boss. It literally just like makes my skin just airbrushed. Well, this is a wax-based foundation, so my skin hangs onto it more than it would having like a primer underneath it. All right, once I have my base coat of foundation on, then I go in with my contour. Now when I do my makeup, I like to make sure that it goes on really lightly, and then I build up the product so then I can get like a nice little flawless finish at the end instead of just like kicking it on at the start and having to like try to take some off. I'm gonna take that same contour, I'm gonna put it on my forehead. My dinosaurs are coming along for the ride. All right, now I'm gonna go into my highlight stick. Get rid of all those dark circles. Bye-bye. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to marry this whole shape. Then I want to marry these shapes. It makes it so nice and crisp and then also seamless. And then I blend everything together. So now I'm gonna go into my nose contour, and I'm gonna make this big chunk of a nose into a really thin little stick pretzel of a nose. I do my makeup differently every single time because I love like the painterly aspect of it all. I want to do like a different piece every single day. My makeup has evolved into more like a softer editorial type of vibe with like an artistic twist instead of using real paint as makeup. Learned real quickly that you cannot do that. I come from like a hodunk town. We did not have any of this kind of stuff. All right, now that foundation is on, I'm gonna set this with some powder. So now I'm gonna go in with some powder contours to cut all those cool little shapes that I just made. Dance, dinosaurs, dance! So usually my mug takes me about 2 hours. If I'm going quick, I can get it done in an hour. When I'm in it, I love to just relish in the fact that you're becoming like the best version of yourself you could possibly imagine through makeup. So what I'm doing is I'm just going in a couple little circles, getting it really up into that hairline so it just seamlessly melts with the skin and melts with this highlight that I got going on here. All right, so now it's time for my eyeballs. So I actually don't cover my eyebrows because I don't want to. I cut my eyebrows off like halfway and I was like, ooh, this looks kind of fun. And I didn't make the connection where I was like, oh my goodness, I could just like extend my natural eyebrow into my drag eyebrow. A friend of mine was like, girl, you know that you could just snatch that. And I was like, oh, so you'll see, it's pretty cool. Now that all that white is on there and I have this little like falcon shape, now I can start going in with some color. So what I'm doing is I'm going in with these orange tones, and then I'm gonna accent it with the clashing colors, pink, some red, and then cut it with some green, and it's gonna be sunset strawberry extravaganza on my face. So what I'm doing now is I'm just getting the base color down, and I'm just blending it out so seamlessly so I can start putting some things on top. Now let's deepen those bad boys up. Gorgeous! I think I'm done. All done. Now we're gonna break up all this color. We're gonna get some green in there. One of my best friends in the whole world created this little strawberry plush for me, and I was gonna perform for the first time as Utica. I was like, what is she? So I just threw a hodgepodge of things together. I love crazy, crazy patterns, and this strawberry has followed me around my whole Utica career. So what I've been doing is I'm doing the lightest color, which is this yellow into like a neon green moment. And I'm just blending it the best that I can all the way into the darkest color, which is this really dark green. That is Gorgelinta. So now that the eyeshadow is basically done, I am gonna start getting in the white waterline. It's gonna be like, pooh, and it's gonna make my eyes look a lot bigger. Yes, oh, yes. I use paint brushes for some of my detail work because they're super long and I can get cleaner lines. Now, I'm an artist. I paint and I do printmaking and I do 2D design and junk. And so I like to treat my face kind of like that when I use makeup. Use this as the canvas. I kind of shift between like watercolor splatter painting type of face style and kind of this womanly, like with a splash of art. All right, now I'm going to close it up and put some color around it so it really melds into the face. I think everybody has their face that they do when they're doing makeup. I get kind of like a dumbfounded face like whenever I am concentrating on my makeup. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go into eyeliner. I don't do eyeliner like most people, so this is one of my little staples, which I just love. Also, if anyone out there does this, please reach out and let's have a little eyeliner party. I'm gonna stay like this for just a minute to let that dry. Oh. Okay, got my base done. Let the pointillism begin. So what I'm doing is I'm adding a bunch of dots. I am very inspired by pointillism. I find that I can create a better shape, a more dramatic look with a bunch of dots. So from far away, it looks like this beautiful faded eyeshadow. But up close, it's art. It's all made up of dots. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create my regular eye shape, which is this round, beautiful moment, but all made up of dots. And how I do this is I make the dots denser and more close together where I want more darkness to be. And then I have them spread farther apart and smaller where I want them less dense. This is one of my favorite parts. Set it with some black eyeshadow to get that fade just perfect. Not too much because you want the dots to do the work. I'm gonna take this black and finish my little eye shape so I can really make my eyes look sultry. Look at that. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm gonna just sharpen up a couple of those lines and then I'm gonna go into mascara. I love makeup so much. We're making a story. We're storytellers. Okay, mama's gonna go into mascara. Get rid of all those little boy lashes in there, bye-bye. I find that doing mascara right after I do my eyeliner really works pretty well. Kind of make it all one cohesive shape. Now it's time for brows. I'm gonna go in with some crazy green. Eyebrows used to stress me out, but now I love them. I basically just take my little boy brows and I stack my girl brows on top of them like a little party. By doing that, my eyebrows fit my face more. And when I do these crazy expressions when I'm performing, my eyes are super expressive. By stacking my brows like this, I'm able to be even more emotive. I might just keep this look all day. Look at that, isn't that fun? It just pops and shines off the face. When I went home and I did that little drag thing at my farmhouse with my family, it was a little nerve-wracking at first, but my dad called me an angel. He's like, you look like an angel. And I'll take that. And my mom called me exotic. I'll take that too. My parents have been so sweet throughout this whole thing. Drag Race brings families together. I think it really did that with mine. Being on the show made them see that I really am so passionate about what I do and the art of it all. It kind of gave them that little nudge like, oh, this is actually a cool thing and that you're doing it and that it's being revered in such a way that it can be on TV. That's crazy. These little farm humans are just like, oh wow, well now you're cool. And I'm like, well, I was cool before, so. Alrighty, Ru, and now I'm gonna set that with some powder to give it just a little bit more dimension where I want it. Look at that, just magical. These eyebrows need to cease and desist because they are gorgeous. Yes! All right, so now that my eye makeup is pretty much done, I am going to go on to lips now. So I'm gonna start off with orange. Ooh. What I'm doing is I'm kind of adding a color shadow to my lips. I start off with a color and blur that out, and then I'm eventually going to have the main color on the lips, but I'm trying to like give it a more artistic twist. I overdraw my lips a pickle bit, but not a lot. I like to have a little bit of glow. With this today, I'll just be overdrawing them a little bit, and I'm just having a little bit of this color story outside the lip line. Now you're intrigued. You're like, ooh, what's she gonna do? She looks like she's been kissing all night. I love this part. It's so fun. If I don't do it right, I look like the Joker, but when done right, it looks really cool. I kind of want to make it look like I've been sucking on a strawberry. Or, alrighty, Rue. I'm gonna go in with my lip liner and I'm gonna define my lips. Now that I have my lips lined, I'm gonna add a bunch of colors. A red, and then it's gonna go to a pink to an orange. Cool rainbow type of moment. So now I'm gonna add a little bit of white to make them like really pop off my face. So I do about 3 or 4 layers to my lips. First it starts off with that cool like shadow moment, and then I do my lip liner, and then I do the lipstick portion, and then usually I just base it with more shadows and stuff to give it lots of color dimension. So now I'm gonna go in with like that orange color I was talking about earlier, and it's just gonna make a nice little pop moment. And then lastly, I'm gonna blend it out into the shadow a little bit to give the shadow a little bit more dimension. All right, I'm just gonna clean up those little lines and they're good to go. So now that lips are done, I'm gonna go into my highlight and I'm just gonna make these cheeks nice and pop-out. Look at that. Oh, so good. So I like to add highlight and a couple little specific places on the face besides just the cheeks to really like make the face pop, and it looks great in pictures. So I like to add it like at the bottom of the lip, right up here above, right underneath the contour. It kind of adds this tiny little bit of shine that makes it pop off the face just a little bit more. Now that my highlight is done, I'm gonna go in with my blush and just warm up these cheeks. It makes it just so round and gorgeous. I also like to bring it up into the forehead to kind of give it a more cohesive color palette all the way around the face. Yes! What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add some orange eyeshadow to the cheeks a little bit. Oh, look at that dimension. Isn't that great? And then bring that up into the forehead, the temples, sorry. I'm a very tidy queen. During the show, I was always cleaning up after myself constantly. Like any downtime I could find, I was just like putting everything where it's supposed to go. So now that my cheeks are done and they're all beautiful and colorful, I'm going to go into my eyes again. And I'm just gonna define a little bit under the eye. That way when I put the lashes on, it gives this beautiful little shadow underneath the eyes. Next step, lashes. I love the lashes. Lashes! It's either tiny lashes or it's big chunk lashes that like extend off my face. It all depends on the look. If I'm doing a really, really artsy fartsy look, it's like, poof. But if it's like this, it works better with my brow shape and my brow bone if I have a smaller lash. Now I'm just gonna go in with a pickle bit of eyeliner to just clean that up a bit. All right, now that the lashes are on, I'm gonna finish up a little detail with my little beauty mark here that I have naturally, look at that, naturally in a perfect spot. So I'm just gonna emphasize that just a little bit more to really make it pop off the face. All right, now that my paint is done, I'm gonna put on my tape. I tape my head so I can put all my wigs on. This is my favorite way to put on wigs, and it's so easy, it is so fun. First, I grab my wig cap. I toss all this beautiful hair away in it. Yes, and then I have it right at the hairline here, but I want just a little bit of those hairs showing. Yes. Then I use nude duct tape. What I do is I start in the back. I get my head like just over halfway, and then I just snag a little bit of that skin all the way in the front. But then what I do is I just follow that line, and then I just take the excess and I wrap it and secure it. All right, my face is done. I'm gonna go put on the look and I'll be right back. All right, here's the finished look. Ooh, yes. So sweet, so supple. Strawberry dreams are forever. I really like this look a lot because this is the testament of quintessential Utica. It is colorful, it's crazy, it's whimsical. This was the first look I ever did in drag. Feel free to follow me on social medias and junk at uticaqueen.com and on Instagram at uticaqueen. Facebook and Twitter, they're all the same. I'll follow you, you follow me, and we'll have a grand old time and spread the art. Love you so much.
Look over here, the Drag Race YouTube channel is always bringing amazing content, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss a single thing.